Times Square. Bright lights, endless screens, crowds of people everywhere, moving like clockwork. It's the heart of New York City, the kind of place you think you know. I thought I knew it too, until one night changed that completely. I had arrived around midnight, after a long day. Tourists were wandering, cameras flashing, the giant billboards flickering in vibrant colors. Everything looked normal, familiar, alive. I started walking toward the center, weaving between the crowd. I was tired but wanted to experience the city late at night. That's when I noticed something odd. A group of people frozen for just a moment too long. Not a pause in conversation, not someone stopping to check a phone, actual stillness, like they had been paused. I shook my head and laughed quietly. I assumed it was a trick of the lights or my imagination. Times Square is overwhelming at night, your brain fills in strange patterns. But something in that pause felt wrong. The neon signs blinked rhythmically. One billboard flashed an advertisement repeatedly, but each time, the colors seemed slightly off. Subtle, almost imperceptible. A flicker here, a pause there. Psychologists say your brain craves order. In a place like Times Square, chaos is normal. But when chaos behaves unnaturally, fear sets in. That's exactly what I felt. I kept walking, trying to ignore it. My camera hung loosely around my neck, but I couldn't bring myself to take a photo. Every time I raised it, the crowd seemed different. The movement around me wasn't chaotic anymore. It was precise, almost synchronized. Then I saw it. My reflection, not in a mirror, but in the glass of a giant storefront. My movements didn't match. I blinked, and my reflection lagged for a split second, just enough to feel wrong. I raised my hand, and it hesitated before copying me. I froze. The crowd seemed oblivious. People moved past me normally, talking, laughing, taking photos. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Something about the reflections, the lights, the stillness. It was unnatural. I kept moving, heart pounding, telling myself it was exhaustion or imagination. The city plays tricks on your senses at night. I had walked through Times Square hundreds of times. This was just a late-night illusion. But then the sound changed. Not the usual chatter or traffic, but a low hum under the lights. Almost musical, but wrong. Almost mechanical. I stopped. The hum faded when I moved again. I tried to shake it off. I approached a large digital billboard that showed the news. The headlines flickered, but one phrase caught my eye. A timestamp in the corner seemed frozen. My stomach dropped. I tried rationalizing. Maybe the screen was lagging. But then, in the reflection of the glass beneath the billboard, I saw someone. No, something. Standing behind me. I spun around. Nothing. When I looked back at the glass, it was gone. But the sense of being watched stayed. My heartbeat accelerated. Psychologists describe this as environmental dissonance, the feeling that a familiar place behaves incorrectly, triggering instinctive unease. That's exactly what I was feeling. I decided to leave, but the streets felt longer. The lights seemed harsher, the shadows deeper. Even the usual sounds of traffic and chatter felt muted, replaced by that humming sensation. I kept walking, but everywhere I looked, reflections lagged slightly behind. People's movements felt delayed. Not everyone, just some. And sometimes, faces in the crowd seemed to flicker, like a glitch in reality. By the time I reached the edge of Times Square, I was exhausted and shaken. I tried to rationalize it again. Maybe fatigue, maybe light fatigue, maybe it was just New York's energy at night. But it didn't feel normal. I haven't gone back alone since that night. Even now, when I see Times Square on TV or in photos, it feels different. Not dangerous, not haunted, but wrong. Like my mind knows something is there that shouldn't be, but I can't see it anymore. Some might say it was imagination. Maybe it was exhaustion or the sensory overload of the city at night. But psychologists will tell you, fear is strongest when familiar things behave slightly wrong. And nothing in my life has ever felt more familiar, yet more wrong, than that night in Times Square.